One day, after getting home from work, I had myself a good ol' cry. Feeling overworked, underappreciated, and stressing over every single little thing. So, I decided the best course of action for myself was to rewatch one of my favorite two-part anime specials of all time. Now I'm even more sad. If it wasn't already apparent from another video that I've created, I'm a big Bleach fan. It's my favorite of the big three. It just so happens to be my favorite live form manga, and I've seen the entirety, yes, the entirety of the original anime, which is fine on its best day. But those are all stories for another day. After rewatching the Everything But the Rain two-part special, I immediately felt the need to rewatch the entirety of Thousand Year Blood War. As I was watching Thousand Year Blood War for the upteenth time, it really got me thinking. Could a first-time viewer watch Thousand Year Blood War without reading or watching the original series? And not only enjoy it, but somewhat understand what all is happening without any prior explanation. So, to help me out with this, my homie Tom was kind enough to take part of this little experiment that I had planned. Before we start, I need to state that if you truly want to understand and appreciate Bleach, I do think you need to start from the very beginning of the story. This experiment is just to see if someone could go in completely blind and not only have a good time, but somewhat understand and appreciate what Bleach has to offer as a story. So, without any further ado, let me welcome you to Tom's first ever blind watch through of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. Past Casey, take it away. Thank you for that lovely introduction, future Casey, and without being incredibly biased, that was some great stuff, man. It's truly amazing. Alright, as he already stated, I'm joined here today with Tom, which you guys should already know by now. If you're ever in the mood for some spooky deep dives, go over and check out Anonymous Tree Frog.
Oh, thank you.
Tom here produces some great, and I mean some great content. And also, give his channel a look-see. Consider subscribing. I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
But enough with the stupid shameless plug shit. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for having me on your
course.
channel once again.
Yeah,
I'm super
always.
excited. Always love to be on your channel. You make some amazing stuff, and
Thank you.
I love all of it. So
Thank you.
I always
it.
consider it a huge privilege to be on.
Tom, you have not seen a single episode of Bleach, have you?
No.
Alright,
I know nothing.
Yeah,
About Bleach.
very little, next to nothing.
I would
basically.
honestly lean closer to like basically nothing.
Yeah.
My very little is I know.
You basically know next to nothing. And I think you kind of answered the next question, which was how much do like the stigma is that you are just a punk. You are like someone who is against society.
Yeah,
basically.
Which makes a whole lot of sense for that culture.
Yeah.
For me, I never realized it was like a huge deal because, you know, me, I mean, at first, whenever I saw Ichigo anywhere, I just assumed that was his normal hair color.
Yeah.
But
when I'm saying this, obviously, but I believe the reason why anime characters are, like, their hair specifically is so crazy is to make them stand out. So, like, if you've ever seen that Yu-Gi-Oh meme of just, like, him standing in the crowd and of just regular people,
Right.
he stands out.
yeah, he's got
like,
crazy hair.
yeah, exactly. So, like, I believe that is why to make them stand out and everything. And if you were to signify who your main character is, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Is using their hair like as a insignia. Almost.
Yeah, and I guess that makes most sense.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can really name? I know his mom died, right?
In the first episode, in the first volume of the original like series, that's stated. Like it is like, yeah, she's dead.
Well, I assume it's very impactful for him. It's like a,
Yes.
you know, yeah, everyone knows obviously that the Waynes are killed and Batman. That's why Batman becomes Batman.
No,
but,
exactly.
You know, just like okay, I know that at least.
Yes.
And then outside of that, I might really embarrass myself here, but Soul Reapers, that's a Bleach thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a Soul Reaper.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Cool.
Soul Reaper actually in the show they're gonna call them Shinigamis,
Oh,
which
okay.
just translates to Soul Reaper.
Okay.
Basically, I mean, I'm sure it's actually like a different thing, but the English translation
Right.
is
Okay.
Soul Reaper.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I might be making an ass of myself, but what's different on this channel than that? Going back to the criteria, I haven't shown you anything concerning Thousand Year Blood War except one fight, which I did make an edit for, but you have zero context for that.
That is true.
And the reason why you guys haven't seen the edit is simply because of the fact that YouTube won't let me upload it.
Boo.
Yeah. With that being said, if there's ever anything that you are confused on, have questions of, or just anything you want to talk about concerning the show, just simply say the word pause. We'll pause the episode and then we can stop and then I will explain. That doesn't talk about anything into the future.
Okay.
Just for that
Yeah,
moment.
what's relevant to that.
Yeah, which I think will most likely just be definitions, who characters are, how they necessarily relate to Ichigo, that kind of stuff. But I feel like some other things might come out here and there.
Okay.
So, with that being said, let's get started, bro. Let's do this. I'm excited. I'm truly excited to see your opinions and thoughts on this show.
Ready to do it. Let's pause.
Not even 30 seconds into this first episode, we had to pause. However, I was fully anticipating this. The opening scene is a narration voiced from a character we haven't met yet, paired with some crazy visuals. I can't say to Tom who this is or really what they're talking about because those would be major spoilers later down the line. However, I can answer what a Quincy is. So, in the world of Bleach, we will basically be following 4 different groups. The first group being Soul Reapers. They are, for the most part, the main characters we will be following, and they also happen to be the heroes of the story. To sum up Soul Reapers, they're basically samurai Grim Reapers. Reaping, get it, and help guide souls to the afterlife. Another big aspect of Soul Reapers is following the natural balance of things, aka life and death. Quincy's, however, are the antithesis to Soul Reapers. To quickly cover them without spoiling anything, what they believe in fully goes against this natural balance that the Soul Reapers have created. If they were to destroy a hollow, this would not only go against the natural balance of things, but it would completely erase hollows from the cycle. Next, we have hollows. They will be covered later on in the video, so I'm not going to really spend that much time on them. But without going into too much detail, they are the things that need to be reaped by the Soul Reapers to help keep this natural balance. Finally, we have humans. For the most part, they're just your run-of-the-mill humans. Yes, some do stand out from others, but that is neither here nor there. And that just about covers everything you guys need to know at this very given point. However, before we get back to everything, if you find yourself enjoying the video, you might as well drop a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. It's not the channel all that much, but it really does. And if you do decide to subscribe, it will help me get even that much closer to my goal of 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2024. Now, with that shameless plug out of the way, let's just get right back into the video.
Okay, pause. Alright, so I need more lore. So,
Yes.
What are hollows?
Hollows are people who have died and were not reaped by a Soul Reaper. Think of them as almost like a ghost, in the sense that they have something left undone. They don't want to go to the afterlife because they have some vendetta or they have some goal that they never completed upon life. So eventually their souls become tainted
Hmm.
at the fact that they wanted something so much that they will do anything to achieve that goal,
Right.
whether that be good or bad.
Right.
It could be as simple as in just like you wanted to say goodbye to your family before you died, but
It could drive you evil just
by doing that,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Driving
No,
so
'cause-
much to do that.
No, because wouldn't you do anything to say goodbye to your family
Well, yeah, absolutely.
if you were going to die?
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, of course.
and regardless, because that is a very noble thing to do, but after like 10 or so years, you're going to become spiteful of that a little bit. I feel like, of the fact that why didn't they come and visit me? Why didn't they want to say
I see,
goodbye?
okay.
So you become, your soul is tainted, and that's what a hollow is. A hollow is a tainted soul. We're a minute in.
Do we know these people or are these new people?
Completely new people.
Oh, okay.
Completely new characters. As far as I know, I don't remember them before Thousand Year Blood War.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that they're still introducing new characters.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%, yeah.
Ooh, you're cool looking.
So that's a hollow.
Okay, so are hollows all? I mean, I'm assuming they all kind of look different.
Yes, it's another thing about Kubo, bro. Regardless if you're like the same faction, you look different.
Yeah, which is pretty neat. No way! Oh my god, that's her?
Yeah.
Oh, she's dead! Oh, that's horrible. She didn't even stand a chance, bro. Oh my god. That's messed up.
It is messed up, dude. Hollows are nothing to mess around about.
Is it our boy now? Yeah, okay. The gang's all here now. Yes. That's the other thing I know about Ichigo. He has the cloud sword.
Yeah, I guess.
Damn, dude, these hollows look so freaking cool. I want to be that pig one.
Juro, you know that this is where you gotta be. It must be your destiny.
Oh dang, her powers are pretty useful.
Oh yeah.
Ohime?
Or a Hime.
Or a Hime. Oh nice, everyone's gonna get a title card? Let's go. It makes it easier to learn who they all are.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Wait, did you notice he was speaking Spanish though?
Oh, I totally missed it. No.
Also, that was cool.
That is very cool. Yo, what? Yasutoro?
Yasatoro.
Sato.
Call him Chad.
That's
That's his name.
Okay.
Everyone
cool.
calls him Chad.
Cool, I like it. Oh, I do remember this guy. Shit, bro.
Uryu.
Uryu.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's an amazing intro. Let's pause.
Yeah. For sure.
I kind of just want to try and get down each person's like kind of power level or
Okay.
what they have, what they do.
Okay.
I mean, it was like very colorful and cool,
Yes.
but what exactly they all did, I'm not totally sure on. Like whatever Ichigo just did.
Oh, the Getsuga Tensho?
Yeah, I knew that was probably some sort of important power thing.
Yeah, so that's like Ichigo's power. So, in the world of Bleach, there is something called spiritual pressure and Ryatsu. So, spiritual pressure is basically just like in Dragon Ball, that's your like power level basically.
Yeah,
Ichigo, the reason why his sword is so big, cuz also that is how his sword normally looks. If you saw the other two guys, like Shino and then that girl, or if I switched up their names, who cares? Their swords were just regular katana.
Yeah.
That is how every Soul Reaper sword should look.
Oh, should look. Okay.
That is how they all start out and everything. Like base form. That is how they all look. Ichigo's doesn't look like that. Ichigo's spiritual pressure is so large. If it were to go out of his body, how in Dragon Ball, their energy is just like always protruding out of them, kind of. Yeah. If Ichigo's did that, it would be cataclysmic. So its spiritual pressure had nowhere to go but out. However, the sword is the only other place it could go. So his sword is just straight up big because of how much spiritual pressure he has.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's just the next question, which is going to be everyone else's.
Yeah,
sort of
no,
like,
go for it. Yeah.
So, We'll start with Spanish speaking dude.
Yeah,
then.
okay, so Chad. Orihime and Chad's powers are very similar.
Okay.
They are regular humans, they're not Soul Reapers.
Oh.
They're just regular humans.
Oh. Okay.
They're friends of Ichigo, so they're powerful people who are part of the crew, basically. They align themselves with the Soul Reaper side, but they are by no means Soul Reapers. And then Ichigo isn't even a full Soul Reaper. He's a substitute Soul Reaper.
Ah, okay. So when you said that, that was like
that's like
that's his title.
No, yeah, that is his title. Yeah. Because I won't even go into the because that's like a big thing. Like that's like that would take way too much time to explain.
If I end up really liking it a lot, like I might want to actually like pick up Bleach. So
fuck yeah. Sato or Chad, his power, it's connected to an object, and then that object takes a physical form. That object being a pendant that I believe his grandfather gave to him.
okay.
So he holds it and then like turns into those two arms that he has.
Yeah.
And one of them is a shield for pure defense. The other one is an attack for just pure attack. Chad's powers are unfortunately like not super impressive.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like for the beginning of the series and of the show, he is really powerful. But then we come to learn like how powerful Soul Reapers are, and it's like, okay, so Chad isn't even like on their level. Like
Right.
he's a powerful human, but by no means is he as strong as even like a decent level Soul Reaper is.
Well, it's like all the powers they were kind of showing off. I did kind of feel like his was kind of just a little bit the weakest, you know. You see massive explosions and like energy and all this stuff radiating. And really all he did was just punch a guy, yeah.
And then Orihime, she emits her power through her hair clips. She really doesn't really have any attacks. It's purely just healing and then like blocking. But like you might think that like, oh, that's like not like a super strong woman character. No, I say the complete opposite. That is just who Orihime is. She is a healer. She is literally the light of the group.
Yeah.
Like without her, it would just be a bunch of depressing guys.
Well, yeah, no, I don't mind that at all for like her character. I think that's cool to like have that aspect of it. Like,
well, I mean, I wasn't even saying that you would think that, but more so because a lot of people do not like Orihime.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Even in just like those few little moments, I thought she was already really cool.
She is cool.
Just had an immediate like positive like outlook on everything. Just like, yeah, hey, we're here to save the day. You know.
Oh, exactly.
Everyone else is like Chad and the other one. Uryu, yeah, they kind of
stoic.
Yeah, stoic, and we're showing off. Well, no, Ichigo is more showing off.
Yeah.
The other two are, yeah, like you said, stoic. Yeah. So yeah, no, she was the only one that was kind of being like the comforting, just like, hey, don't worry, we're gonna take care of this.
Chad is like pretty chill, but Uryu and Ichigo would butt heads constantly, and then Orihime is like the median between the two. She's like, no guys, like let's chill out.
They kind of already did a little bit even in that fight, so yeah, I like it. I like it as someone who doesn't know these characters. I think
like you can get the dynamic.
Well, that's why I like
immediately.
Yeah, one fight they immediately show you, all their dynamics in the group.
See, this is why I wanted to watch this with you, because it's like I understand you're gonna have so many questions, but also like, do you see what I mean? Just from that opening scene, what I mean, how the show introduces everything like you already know them a little bit without any preconceived notions.
I'll say I loved that intro of all of them. That was really, really cool.
Hell yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
And then Uryu, he used that bow and everything.
Yes,
so
very cool as well.
Yeah. So his reishi is just firing through that bow. There is no physical arrow. He's literally just pew pew pew, and then just like arrows come out. It's really cool.
Okay.
It's very hard to notice, but like there was something dangling, and he is a Quincy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I miss something, or this just happened?
No, yeah, this just happens.
Some guy just came from the window.
Yeah, not the first time. All right, so an Arrancar is a more powerful hollow. There are different tiers of hollows. The ones that we saw at the beginning, that's the weak.
That's the lower tier.
Yeah. That's the lowest form of hollow.
And so these higher forms, are they all going to be like humanoid-esque people like him, sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's like form 3. Form 2 is Menos Grande, I think. Hollows become more powerful by devouring other hollows.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So they're just like straight up cannibals.
Wow.
How you become an Arrancar is case by case. So certain Arrancar just eat a bunch of other ones and then they become an Arrancar. Certain ones have to go through have to go through like a character arc almost. They have to figure out how to obtain such a power. And if they don't, Hollow's trying to become an Arrancar on a clock. If they do not become an Arrancar after a certain amount of time, they go back to the Menos Grande, and then they go back.
Oh, dang.
So
They constantly need to be like
feeding on each other.
Wow.
Yeah, until they become an Arrancar, which is like you are just like you're kind of stuck there. You can go up, but you can't go down. Bro, Bleach is stylized, bro. It's style to the maxed out degree.
I like it because I've seen those types of character designs before, and you know, it very well just could it be like a really well designed character that stands out like in a lot of different anime. But it is cool that there is like a lore explanation for all these looks and things like that. So I didn't know that. That is pretty cool.
Did you have a question about the Gigai?
Yeah, what was that? Because I was
Yeah.
confused. I was trying to follow, that's why I didn't ask at the time, but
Yeah.
I got lost.
So as you saw earlier with those two Soul Reaper like jumping around and everything, Soul Reapers can interact with the world, but they are not seen by humans, and they can't eat. They can't drink. They're literally like ghosts. Same thing with Hollows. Hollows are not seen by regular humans unless they have some sort of innate spiritual pressure, like Orihime, Chad, and Ichigo. They can all see Hollows because they have like an innate spiritual pressure about them. They have more than the average human does. So for example, like that fight and everything that took place on that rooftop, and like there was like debris and everything. If you were to walk outside at that night and just watch and look up, you wouldn't see the fight. You would see the debris because you don't have that spidey sense per se.
Right.
And a Gigai is basically just a hollow shell that's a clone of your human body that you can walk around as a human, eat, drink, and just be a human, basically. So that is how Soul Reapers can interact in the human world. They use a Gigai.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Mhm.
I'm starting to like these hollows a lot more and more.
Fuck
The
yeah,
more I learn about them.
Fuck yeah.
Maybe I'd be a hollow in this universe.
Ooh, fuck yeah, dude. Nah, dude, they're sick. Hollows are so fucking sick. So we are currently in the Seirete, which is technically the afterlife and everything. So when your soul is reaped, that's what you're taking.
Okay.
And
Did not realize that.
yeah, and that's where all the Soul Reapers reside and everything. Because they're all basically just like spirits, or they were born into the Seirete. That's a question I actually don't know how to answer. I don't know how a Soul Reaper is really created. Because it's also been a year since I have read the manga to its completion. It probably was explained in like the first few chapters, and I read it in high school, so what, like 2016, 2017, and now it's 2024, so like obviously I'm gonna forget. But they're in the Seirete right now, and the Seirete has a bunch of different districts, and that's District 64. So there's also Districts 1 through 63. So this is just like a town. Squad 11, which is the guys that you just saw, they were sent to investigate where all these people went, and not a single soul can be found, which is a little scary to say the least.
Okay. I'm glad that you clarified that for me because I would not have gotten that this is like the afterlife or anything like that. I would have just assumed this is just another place people just went to.
No, exactly, because it's also like not really shown as the afterlife. It's literally just like any other place. Yeah, which is like what I really like actually. Like the afterlife is nothing grandiose, really. It's kind of just yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See ya.
There's Slash TPing out of there? Oh my. Oh, with a massive explosion.
That was old man Yamamoto who made that.
Oh.
They just kind of disappeared into the shadows.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness, look at the damage. You're still alive?
Some German.
Yeah, what? Is this actually like a reference? Because the other guys called themselves the whatever Reich.
Wandenreich.
Wandenreich. I don't know if they're supposed to be the thing you can't say on YouTube.
Yeah,
I see.
they are based off of them.
I see. Ooh, what?
It's a little pompous to call yourself the Chosen.
Yeah. For real. Are these guys like villains in the original series at all, or is this something kind of new?
New.
Okay. Oh, there's some beef between them. Oh. Oh. Jeez. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, it's this guy from the beginning. That's a cool title card. This is a really cool title card. I really like this. Wow.
That was episode 1, bro.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that whole ending raised a ton of questions for me, but that was really, really cool. So, I mean, I'm glad that you kind of just like hinted at me that the villains are kind of like a newer villain.
Yeah. The villains, like, so the Wandenreich is like this arc onward.
Right.
So there's one villain for the original arc, and then there's one villain for the Fullbringer arc, and now we're in the Thousand Year Blood War arc. So
Okay.
completely new villain, completely new faction,
Yeah.
completely like new characters.
Yeah. It does a great job at that. It does a great job of like introducing the characters you're familiar with while like starting a new story, a new arc, like you said, which I that's why I can tell like why you wanted to watch it.
Yes.
I can tell that it is a good starting point. It's a good starting point for sure. It's great if you aren't familiar with Bleach prior to this.
Okay.
It is. It's a great starting point. You just do kind of have to be familiar kind of with the lore a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like how it was with like when we watched Fallout, you know? It's like you can pick up on it because it's a new story,
Yes.
but you're probably going to be confused by the lore that gets brought up.
Mhm.
So I think it's a probably exactly comparable to that show, honestly, because I think that's exactly kind of what they do.
Dude.
But
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
it worked. I mean, I was able to follow it for the most part. I mean, all my questions were just like, you know, oh yeah, what's
this?
what's a Quincy? What's a
Yeah,
Hollow?
yeah.
But like once you answered that for me, I was like, oh shit, okay. Well, now these new guys are coming in and fucking shit up, which I don't know why yet, but I'm
Right.
assuming that obviously gets answered as
But-
it progresses.
And then, as Ichigo pointed out, a Rancor dude who really hates to be called an Rancor, he whipped out the Quincy sigil
Yeah.
and also whipped out a Quincy weapon, which is like a bow-like gun.
Now was that what what's his name has?
Uryu?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's a Quincy?
Yeah. Uryu is a Quincy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and if you remember, when the gate was opened at the very beginning of the episode, there was a guy standing on the rooftop.
Uh-huh.
That was that Rancor guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we only watched the first episode, so let's
Obviously.
stick it with the first
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
But did you enjoy it, first and foremost?
I did. I enjoyed it a lot, for sure. Definitely.
Do you think you could sit down, watch this show completely blind, and still enjoy it? And maybe not necessarily follow, but like have somewhat of an understanding
Yeah.
as to what is going on, what's happening, who these people are.
Here's what I'll say. I think the toughest part would probably be watching those first few episodes. I feel like it might be harder to get into if I didn't have you here while watching that first episode. That being said, I do think you can. I do think you can. You would just need to be someone that kind of has to let this story develop so you can be invested in this story. Like, I kind of needed you to tell me that I keep forgetting their names, but this new villain faction.
Oh, the Wanden.
The Wandenreich. Okay, yeah. So I needed you to kind of be the one to tell me that the Wandenreich, like, okay, yeah, that's a new thing.
Mhm.
This isn't something that's in previously established Bleach lore. The guy that he's fighting, he's not like, you know, in previously established Bleach lore and stuff like that. So trying to think if there was anything else that came up.
I'm just glad you enjoyed it, honestly.
I really did. It made me want to like continue the series for sure. Absolutely. And maybe pick up Bleach. I mean, I think the world is very cool. Like, I think there's a lot you can explore with it for sure. And kind of like what we were already talking about too, with like the dynamics of all the characters in the main group. You all got that from the very beginning, and that's kind of one of my favorite aspects of writing in fiction. Honestly, is if you have all of your main characters that all play this specific dynamic,
Yes.
and they all do it well, and you can tell, like, you know those characters well. You know exactly what they're gonna say
Mhm.
in any given situation.
This is exactly what I wanted out of this. Like, you asked all the questions I kind of thought you would ask. And I also did not watch this episode like earlier today. The last time I watched it, which was like the other week when I restarted my fourth watch through of the show, I had the idea of the episode in my head, and I know you were worried, but do you understand why I wasn't worried?
Yeah, definitely. And it goes back to what I was kind of saying earlier too. It's just like you can tell it does feel like the episode is structured to be something that people who are just jumping on now can still watch. So I totally get what you were saying and like where you're coming from with that. So after watching it, I totally get it now.
With that being said, though, the farther we go into the series, there are certain things where I'm like, oh, this would be really hard for a first-time viewer.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, I might even like consider just like picking up the actual show at this point.
I will give you an episode watch list because
There's episodes to skip.
it's the entire anime is like 300 some episodes,
I know it's long.
and 60% of the show is filler.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
would
I will
definitely
send you an episode watch
I would
list
appreciate a watch list.
because like it's literally, and also like certain episodes, like here's the part of the anime that really pisses me off the most is that during some of the best fights and some of the most intense moments of the show, we will just cut. So we're left on a cliffhanger, and literally for like 3 to like 20 episodes, it's filler. So we are just like, I want to go back to the fight. I want to go back to that cliffhanger, and then you just have to sit through a whole arc of just bullshit just to get back to the moment you wanted to watch. But it's been so long that you're like, we're back here, but like it doesn't feel like it's a smooth transition.
Right.
Which is what makes me mad about the anime the most.
That's what frustrates me about shows and things like that in general. So I definitely probably would appreciate that watch list. But I might still pick it up, honestly.
Okay.
I really like the world. I think it's a
Yes.
unique,
No, the
cool
world's
world.
insane. I love the world. And like obviously, I do think if you are going to get into Bleach, the best way to get into it and the best version of it is the manga. Is just sitting down and reading it.
Yeah, I struggle with just doing that with anything in general. That's
You're
why.
not just down to business. Because that's the thing about Ichigo is that he doesn't care about your backstory, even what your intentions are. He is like, you showed up to my room, stood on my bed with your dirty ass shoes, and assuming you wanted to attack my home. None of what you say matters because I'm gonna kick your ass. Which is like why I love Ichigo so much, and that's why people don't like him. Because they're like, he's too quick to the point. He doesn't want to know, but that's why I like he doesn't care about that. He sees it as you come into my world, attack my home, friends and family. Therefore, I don't need to know your intentions or your vendetta. This is all I need to know.
And I get that. I'm sure it's like something like if I spend more time with him, I'll go to appreciate that aspect of his character more. Like it doesn't like ruin it for me or anything like that.
No.
You just kind of I came into it kind of having this idea of his character, and then this episode kind of just like confirmed all that. It's like, okay, yeah, that's him.
For asking. If it wasn't already clear from my past self's reactions, I feel like this experiment went extremely well. Not only did Tom really enjoy this first episode, but he even mentioned that he might go ahead and start the series. And if you ever had any doubts as to me torturing him through this video, look at this face. That is the face of pure joy right there. Even though there were a few questions here and there was never a question or moment in time that ever caught me off guard. And like it was stated before from the both of us, this is a great opening episode to this series. It not only introduces us to the world and the characters, but also reintroducing them to returning viewers of the show. Yes, those returning viewers will have more of an attachment to these places and characters they're familiar with, but that's all just an added bonus, at least for this first episode. This was mentioned before, but I really feel like a new viewer of this series could really enjoy this first episode and maybe one or two more. Going any further than that, I feel like would not only confuse the viewer, but also hinder an extremely emotional experience moving forward. If for whatever reason you somehow became interested in this series from this video, I highly suggest you go and pick up the first volume of this amazing story. But if reading isn't really your thing, then gladly go ahead and watch the original series released in 2004. It's good, for the most part. But to help you guys through, I will have a pinned comment down below showcasing a watch list, helping you all pick and choose which episodes to skip. Because a lot of it, and I mean a lot of it, is filler, and that's really the unfortunate part about it. But with that all being said, I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed the video. Go get into some Bleach if you feel so inclined to do so. And of course, I hope you are all having an amazing day. Anyway, I'll be seeing you guys in another video. Peace.